Hey, welcome to Shofar Mountain. I am Pastor Joe Fox. I'm going to try and start a series of little mini videos on this channel that should be of interest to those of you who believe Yeshua is HaMashiach, Jesus is the Christ, and who are desiring and attempting to keep Torah, to guard the commandments of Yah, of God. If you like these videos, hit like or leave a positive comment and I'll keep doing them. And I'm going to pick things that are mildly controversial for a while because that's interesting, right? I mean, that's kind of how I look at it. And the first thing is this: I have spoken to many Messianic, Torah observant, Hebrew roots, Israelite, Netzarim, congregations over the last several years. And one of the things that bugs a good chunk of people, maybe it bugs you, is when I call myself Pastor Joe Fox. And people are like, ugh, and they don't like that. And they'll make a point of coming up to me and saying, hi, Joe, or, whatever. But you can just tell they feel awkward doing that. And so why do many Messianic type, and again, don't let labels get in the way. Self-identify as you want. I'll probably do a video on that eventually. But why are so many so uptight about that word pastor, right? The title pastor. I think what it is because many of us have come out of regular baseline Christianity before we came to an understanding of the way of keeping the commandments of Yah. And we realized that we were lied to, maybe not lied to, we were certainly misinformed while we were in Christianity about a great many things, and that was done mostly by pastors. Right? Now, I was a Christian, straight line, Bible church pastor, and I take issue with the word lie. I never lied to anybody. I did not purposely tell a mistruth. I preached the word as I understood it at the time. And then the Father revealed to me these things about Torah, about how we're supposed to keep Torah, and so I started preaching that. But, we know about Easter is not a believer's holiday. Christmas was never celebrated, by the first century church and all those kinds of things. And so these things kind of stick in our craw, like we were preached these things by pastors all these years. And this is my theory on why people don't like the term pastor, and so they don't like to use it. A lot of people also, and you're going to take offense at this a little bit maybe, they're just disobedient and rebellious to the core. And we're going to talk about that when we get to Zizi in another talk. But we're just like the Israelites of old, right? We're rebellious. You're not the boss of me. We don't want to hear people tell us, what to do. You can't tell me what to do. And so we're rebellious, and we don't like the idea of a pastor, of somebody up there preaching the word, dun 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 dun. Jeremiah 3:15. What does that say? Do you know what that says? I will give you pastors. This is Yah speaking. Yahweh speaking. And he is saying, and I will give you pastors after my own heart, who will feed you with knowledge and understanding, and with understanding. And so I tell people, I will feed you, but it's entirely up to you whether you eat or not, right? But I'm going to put it out there. The word pastor is in Hebrew, ra'ah, right? And it just means shepherd. That's all it is. Pastor means shepherd. Pastor has to do with pastoral and pastures and, things like that. And so it just means a shepherd. And I am, in fact, a shepherd of a flock here at Shofar Mountain. And I submit in some form, I'm a pastor for you who are watching this on YouTube. In some form. It says, I will give you pastors. There's an S in there. I will give you ra'ah. Was it ra'aim? I don't know. I don't speak a whole lot of Hebrew. I just know some words. But he said he'd give us pastors, and I'm one of those pastors. And if you don't like using the term pastor, that's fine. No skin off my nose, but it doesn't change what I am. And so I think that we need to lighten up a little bit as a people, those of us who think, I'm not going to use the term pastor. Ruff, ruff, ruff. I remember when I was a Christian pastor, and somebody brought up to me, the first century church, they didn't meet like this with you up front in the pulpit and us sitting down here in pews in this church building. And I agree, 100%. They didn't. And so I would say, well, can we all meet in your living room next week? No, we had way too many people. We had standing room only in our church. We were getting ready to go to 2 services at one time. And so, no, they wouldn't fit in the living room. So we need somewhere to meet, right? I mean, it gets cold. This was in Kansas. It gets cold in the winter. It gets hot in the summer. It rains. So we needed somewhere to meet. This building's as good as any. And then people would say, about the pastor thing. And I'm like, hey, would you like to get up here and give a teaching, have a word, talk about scripture, run the meeting? You don't even have to sit up here. You can sit down in the pews, or we can put chairs in a circle. Do you want to take charge of this group of people next week? No, nobody ever did. Why is that? I do it all the time. I say, if somebody wants to preach, now I'm not going to let a stranger come in and start addressing the congregation. I have to, check their spirit and that kind of thing. But anybody in our congregation, if they want to speak, they can get up and speak. That's fine with me. They don't have to clear their notes with me first. But you know what? I've been offering that for over 10 years. No one's ever taken me up on it. Why is that? Because not all are called to be pastors. That's just the truth. It's a role. It's a role that is given to me by Yah and others, and it is what it is. And so don't get so upset about using the term pastor. And I figured I'd start with that one because I always say, hi, I'm Pastor Joe Fox. I don't think that makes me better than you. I don't think that makes me necessarily more intelligent than you on matters of Scripture. But it does put me in a position where I've got to get up there and preach the word. And it's very similarly related in position to when we read bishop in the King James Version. Paul talking about bishops and stuff. And we're held to a higher standard because we're putting out the word of Yah, and so we're accountable for that. And so not everybody is in a real hurry to do that. And so that's the deal with pastors and the title pastor. And again, if it really sticks in your craw, that's cool. Call me Joe, call me Fox. Just don't call me late for supper. It's cool. We're going to look at zit. We're going to look at head coverings. We're going to look at all kinds of mildly controversial things that people talk about. If you have your own comments, put them below. All right. God bless.